perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Hey there, this is Mr. Icarus, and welcome to yet another edition of Doom Mod Madness. This time round, we're checking out a gameplay mod by the name of Thanos Doom. Yes, a mod that lets you play as the Mad Titan himself and answer the age-old question of who would win in a punch-up between Thanos and a Revenant. Apparently the Revenant. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out. Nah, I'm not gonna give up that easily, least of all when I've got access to the Infinity Stones, granting me power such as the ability to freeze time with the Time Stone, making this punch-up 100 times fairer than it was before, and apparently, if you punch things enough while you've got time frozen, they just momentarily blink out of existence, and then when time resumes, lovely. Granted, it's more a quirk of the Bolognese Gore mod than anything else, but still, no less fun to witness in action. Intriguingly, Thanos Doom also allows for interaction between multiple stones. Time and power, for example, will give you a slow-mo laser beam, which is a strange interaction, to say the least. Power gives you the standard, straightforward laser beam, and I'm honestly trying to figure out any good applications for the slow-mo version. I suppose it would be good to ring in your enemies with a slowly encroaching laser fence, but I'd much rather just blast them in the face old-school style. One of my favorite interactions, however, is that. A combination of the Space and Power Stone will grant you the ability to slam your enemies unceremoniously into the ceiling and watch as they lifelessly fall back down to the ground. Very satisfying, especially if you're dealing with an enemy that's low in health enough for them to go splat whenever it happens. And as you may have just witnessed, if you've suffered a boo-boo here and there, you can in fact use the Soul Stone to just thoroughly heal yourself. Space, on its own, believe it or not, can actually create portals between 2 points in the level. Mouse 1 will create the entry, and I believe Mouse 2 will create the exit, and you can just freely move between them, and flank your enemies, and do whatever you will. Another application of the Space Stone is that you can fly, and while flying, you can also blast lasers, because why the heck not? Have to admit, I did get a little overeager at this part, and yeah, I kinda skipped straight to the snap, because I really wanted to see the effect. Now, contrary to how it's usually presented, the snap here does not kill half of everything in the level, it actually kills everything in the level. But a really nice touch is it doesn't reduce enemies to corpses, they vanish. So anything that was previously alive, just gone, out of existence. The downside to this, however, is the fact that I did this pretty early on in the level, and now I have nothing left to test out my abilities on, so oops. Probably one of the lesser used powers that I had access to during the course of Thanos Doom was the Mind Stone, which unfortunately only has really one application, which is to make all of your enemies just flee. They become afraid of you, which is, neat, especially if you're dealing with a big crowd, but I'd much rather be able to inspire a little bit more madness than just that. I'd like to make them fight each other, kill each other, do my bidding, goddammit. But what I guess I'm trying to say here is that there is room for improvement, there is room for expansion. There are abilities and ideas that you could easily attach to, let's face it, pretty much any one of the stones that are available here on the gauntlet. For sake of example, the Reality Stone is probably one of the more nebulous stones you've got access to in this mod, and its abilities manifest in being able to block and reflect enemy projectiles. But you could go so much crazier with that. You could, I don't know, turn your enemies into chickens, influence the very look of the level itself, maybe even spawn a dead clone to fool your enemies into thinking you're dead so you can strike back at them while they're in an idle state. Honestly, you could go nuts. If you're still not quite sold on Thanos Doom and you're still looking for that one solid gold reason of why you should give it a go yourself, well, allow me to present the true, unrestrained power of a fully unleashed Infinity Gauntlet. I rest my case. Really, the only thing I can think of that actively works against this mod is the fact that you have all of the Infinity Stones to begin with, and I can already hear it right now, a bunch of you going, Icarus, are you insane? That's exactly what we want. Just give us the power fantasy, let us go nuts, and to you I say, have fun, enjoy, this is clearly for you. For me, I'm thinking of the future possibilities. I'm thinking of what a Thanos Doom mod might look like if you had to acquire each Infinity Stone throughout the course of a map or a campaign, or whether you'd be able to acquire additional abilities on top of, say, a level 1 Infinity Stone, level 2 Infinity Stone, and so on and so on. There is seriously scope for expansion here, and I'd really love to see something like that in the future, but don't get me wrong, what's here right now is still tremendously entertaining. As you can imagine, I would easily recommend Thanos Doom. If you're after a bit of quick, disposable, cathartic fun, then this will absolutely have you covered. And as you can see, works quite nicely with a wide variety of maps and mods. So if you're having a bit of a hard time, give it a whirl. Have yourself a little bit of a de-stress, and let old Uncle Thanos take care of business. And on that note, if you find yourself interested to give this a try for yourself, you'll find the link, as usual, in the description below. While I'm at it, I'd like to give a great big thank you to my wonderful patrons over on Patreon. Thank you so very much for supporting the channel and for helping to make content like this possible. If you're interested in supporting the channel yourself, maybe you'd like to see your name in the credits, maybe you'd like to gain early access to my videos before anyone else, well, if that's the case, you'll find the link to my Patreon page also in the description below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Feel free to let me know what you thought in the comments, and feel free to suggest any mods you'd like to see me cover in future editions of Doom Mod Madness. This has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.